December 29th, 2024, Muan International Airport, South Korea. It was a cold winter morning, but the airport terminal was buzzing with life. Children were lost in playful mischief. Travelers were taking pictures of their destinations, and loved ones were hugging goodbye. Every face held a story, a dream. But no one knew that this ordinary joy was about to turn into a catastrophe. One that would leave a scar, not only on this airport, but would also be etched forever into the pages of aviation history. The passengers boarding Flight 7C2216 had no idea that their journey would become their final journey in this world. This was Jeju Air Flight 7C2216, a routine flight from Bangkok, Thailand to Muan, South Korea. The aircraft, Boeing 737-800, registration number HL8088, a plane that had safely carried hundreds of passengers before. On this day, too, 175 passengers and 6 crew members were on board. Everyone was seated, the luggage had been loaded, and the aircraft was counting down the final moments before takeoff. Inside the cockpit, 2 experienced pilots, their eyes locked on the control panel and the horizon ahead. Inside the cabin, the atmosphere was cheerful. Passengers were fastening their seatbelts, some were taking selfies, while others gazed out the window, dreaming of their destination. Some had even closed their eyes, perhaps hoping for a peaceful flight. Everything seemed normal, but fate had other plans. That day, a thin layer of fog and scattered clouds filled the sky. The sun occasionally peeked out from behind the clouds, casting golden rays across the heavens. The weather, although slightly gloomy, was still considered suitable for flying. The aircraft cruised at its designated altitude, drawing closer to Muan with each passing moment. But as it entered South Korean airspace, the weather suddenly changed. A light drizzle and a thin layer of fog near the runway prompted flight control to divert the aircraft cautiously towards Muan Airport. Everything still seemed under control, but danger was approaching, silently and swiftly. Preparations for landing were complete. In the cockpit, the final checklist was being reviewed. Passengers followed seatbelt instructions. Then suddenly, a warning came in from air traffic control. Bird activity near runway 01. The pilots, however, decided to proceed with the approach. They assumed it was a routine alert and that landing could still be completed safely. No one knew that in just moments, everything was about to change. As the plane neared the runway, a flock of birds appeared directly ahead, and the entire scenario turned on its head. For a moment, silence fell in the cockpit. Both pilots tried to assess the situation within seconds. Only moments separated them from the earth below. Captain immediately decided to go around and issued a mayday call to air traffic control. But fate had already turned its back. The bird strike had damaged the landing gear system. The aircraft's hydraulic pressure dropped, and in a cruel twist, the black boxes, the FDR and CVR, the very tools that record every sound and movement, shut down just 4 minutes before landing. Now the aircraft was flying blind, and the control room below was in complete darkness, clueless about what was happening in the sky. In a final attempt, the aircraft was brought down for a belly landing. Its underbelly scraped the runway. There was a violent impact, and the aircraft overshot the runway at high speed. Moments later, it slammed into a concrete structure. A huge explosion erupted, and the aircraft was engulfed in flames. Dark skies, ground-level fog, and walls of fire. It felt like doomsday. Screams, fire, wreckage, everything turned to ash in seconds. That flight, once filled with laughter and dreams, was now reduced to charred remains. Immediately after the crash, the aircraft was consumed by flames. High flames, thick black smoke, and horrifying cries filled the runway. In a matter of seconds, the flight that had taken off with hope became a scene of death. Passengers desperately tried to escape until their last breath. Some clung near windows, others struggled to unlock their seatbelts. But the situation deteriorated so quickly that there was no way out. Only 2 flight attendants, stationed in the rear of the plane, miraculously survived. The other 179 souls perished, burned and lost forever, never reaching their destination. Rescue teams rushed to the scene. Fire trucks, ambulances, emergency responders. But the blaze was so intense, it had already consumed the aircraft completely. Smoke billowed on both sides of the runway, and silence engulfed the airport. South Korea's worst aviation disaster had now become an official record. Initial investigations revealed that the bird strike had severely damaged the landing gear and hydraulic systems. Even more concerning was the fact that both black boxes stopped recording just 4 minutes before landing, making it impossible to retrieve the crucial final moments of the flight. Shocking details emerged. Investigators questioned the persistent bird activity near the runway and the positioning of the ILS instrument landing system structure at Muan Airport. As a result, an immediate order was issued to inspect all Jeju Air Boeing 737-800 aircraft for emergency safety. The entire nation plunged into mourning. The South Korean government declared a 7-day national mourning period. Air operations were severely affected. Recovery of wreckage and identification of the bodies took 5 days. This tragedy left behind a message, not only for the passengers, but for the entire world of aviation. No matter how safe the skies may seem, one moment of error, one natural incident, and countless lives can vanish. The story of Jeju Air Flight 7C-2216 became a tale that would be remembered forever in aviation history. And in the end, we ask you, what are your thoughts on this incident and the negligence that came to light? Share your opinion in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more real, thrilling, and investigative aviation documentaries.